What if the greatest royal romance of our time was less about fate and more about a meticulously crafted guest list? The world knows the fairy tale, the blind date, the text messages, the cozy cottage. The narrative is polished to a brilliant sheen. But every fairy tale has a first draft, and this one is allegedly written in the memory of the most unlikely royal historian, Sarah Ferguson. The Duchess of York, she is the woman the palace forgot, the scandal they never fully erased. Now, from the shadows, she is ready to speak. And her target isn't the crown that spurned her. It's the Duchess who replaced her in the global spotlight. This is the story of the prequel, the years before the prince, the connections that built the bridge to the throne, and the one eyewitness who recorded it all. The truth doesn't live in a palace. It lives in a private members club. Our scene opens long before any royal wedding. London's elite social scene, not the official stuffy royal circles. The other side, the world of Soho House, a velvetroped universe where influence is currency and introductions are the most valuable commodity of all. Into this world arrived Meghan Markle, an actress with ambition, intelligence, and a keen understanding of social optics. But she did not arrive as a conquering hero. She arrived as a guest of a gatekeeper. His name, Marcus Anderson, a senior figure within the Soho House empire, a man whose entire career is built on knowing who needs to know whom. He was her facilitator, her guide to the rooms where London's true power brokers relaxed behind closed doors. And watching from a corner banquette, sipping a drink, was Sarah Ferguson. Fergie knew this world like the back of her hand. She had navigated its tricky currents for decades. She knew the billionaire behind the curtain, Ron Burkle, whose private jet served as a shuttle for his inner circle. She knew the unspoken rules, the debts, the favors. She saw Meghan not as a threat, but as a fascinating case study, a woman learning to play a very old, very quiet game. This was the beginning of the dossier, not compiled with malice, but with the sharp eye of a fellow survivor. The first major flashpoint wasn't a palace ball. It was a humid chapel in Jamaica, a small, private wedding. The guest list was intimate. Prince Harry was there. So was Meghan Markle. Also present, Princess Eugenie, Prince Andrew, and Sarah Ferguson. Now, watch the split screen. Prince Harry arrived as he often did, trying to be normal. Commercial flight. Economy plus, no fuss. Meghan Markle arrived via a different stratosphere, aboard Ron Burkle's private jet. This single detail is a thunderclap in Fergie's silent narrative. It spoke of an access level, a network, a backstage pass that contradicted the carefully cultivated image of the struggling actress. In that small, crowded chapel, there was no distance. Fergie observed everything. The ease of Meghan's interactions, the familiar warmth with Eugenie, the comfortable banter with Andrew. This wasn't a woman meeting royal-adjacent figures for the first time. This was a woman moving among acquaintances. The social groundwork, Fergie allegedly noted, had already been laid. The public story would later be a beautiful accident. A friend set them up. Sparks flew, but in Fergie's alleged version, the runway had been quietly paved long before Harry ever landed. This doesn't negate love. It contextualizes opportunity. And in the world of royalty, context is everything. For a time, Fergie felt a bond. They were both outsiders, both women who had felt the brutal grind of the royal machine. Sources claim she reached out to Meghan, an offer of solidarity from one duchess who'd been burned to another. The response? Silence, a strategic, icy distance. To Meghan's burgeoning brand, Fergie was a ghost of royal scandals past, an association with no upside. To Fergie, it was a profound personal betrayal, a dismissal from someone who now sat in the seat she once occupied, seemingly unaware of the very maps that led her there. And that's when the Observer turned archivist. The dossier gained a new, sharper purpose. The story of Tom Skippy Inskip is the key that fits Fergie's lock. He was one of Harry's oldest, most trusted friends, a brother in arms. And he reportedly knew of Meghan long before Harry did, not as an actress, but as a figure in certain elite, opulent social circles, the yacht parties, the billionaire-sponsored trips, the high-stakes casual gatherings. He allegedly saw her in this context. And, loyal to his friend, he reportedly voiced a quiet concern. I know who she is. His reward? Complete and total exile from the wedding, erased from the most important day of his best friend's life. Why? Insiders whisper that Meghan feared the context he would bring. The pre-Harry narrative he could expose, but Fergie knew that narrative, too. Through the same social capillaries, through Andrew, through Eugenie, through the Soho House whisper network, she'd heard the same whispers. She'd seen the trajectory. Tom Inskip's warning was a data point. Fergie's memory was the entire dataset. This brings us to the central, fragile pillar of the Sussex mythos, the origin story. Meghan has publicly stated she met Sarah Ferguson only once, on her wedding day. A clean, simple line. No messy backstory. Fergie's alleged account shreds that line. It paints a picture of years of overlapping orbits, shared spaces, mutual contacts in the shadowy world between celebrity, wealth, and aristocracy. It suggests Meghan was already fluent in the language of this world. Long before she had a royal reason to be, this revelation changes the entire emotional architecture of the story. It shifts the narrative from "who is this amazing woman my friend found?" to "how did this woman, already moving in these circles, finally meet the prince?" The difference is subtle but nuclear. It trades serendipity for strategy. So why would Fergie break her silence now? What triggers a dormant witness? The answer is power. The last power she has left, her royal status, is a phantom. Her finances are a public quandary. Her ties to Andrew are an anchor. The palace regards her as a distant, mildly embarrassing relative. What leverage remains? The truth. The unvarnished, inconvenient, non-digital truth stored in human memory. She isn't bound by NDA letters about parties from 2014. She is a living record. She is, according to sources, shopping a book, not a gentle memoir. A corrective. A guided missile aimed at the foundational myth of the Sussex brand. Its target is not the love, but the lore. Not the marriage, but the meticulously crafted how. For Meghan, this is the ultimate vulnerability. You cannot refute a story about your own past with a press release. You cannot sue someone for remembering a dinner party. An attack on your character can be battled. An autopsy of your ascent is far more dangerous. It threatens to unravel the self-made thread of her tapestry, revealing the skilled hands of social engineers who helped weave it. It turns a Cinderella story into a case study in elite networking. The palace watches this not with concern for Meghan, but with deep, institutional dread. A Fergie tell-all is a grenade in a china shop. It doesn't discriminate. Its shrapnel could nick the throne, the York family, the entire secret social machinery that has always existed alongside the monarchy. It exposes the porousness of the walls they think are so high. Harry is, once again, the man in the middle. Does he defend his wife against allegations about a life she led before him? Does he dismiss the claims of a woman who was a fixture of his own childhood? Every word he says pulls him deeper into a history he may not fully know, forcing him to choose between his wife's presented past and the alleged recollections of his own family. And Meghan, in her California headquarters, faces a threat no PR team can fully neutralize. The source is too close, too inside. The defense is to discredit, to paint Fergie as bitter, broke, and desperate. But desperation makes a compelling narrator, and a witness with nothing to lose is the most credible kind. This is the cliffhanger that will echo through the next chapter of the royal saga. The explosion won't come from a palace balcony. It will come from a publishing house. The battle won't be over titles, but over timeline, over memory, over who gets to write the first draft of history. Will Fergie sign the contract? Is the mere threat of the book her new, most potent form of relevance? Or will the palace, in a panic, find a way to silence her once more? Does Meghan attempt a dramatic, public reconciliation to muzzle the past? Or does she stand firm, betting that a modern audience won't care about the social climbing of a decade ago? The debate is yours. The jury is in the comments. Team calculation or team chemistry? Do you believe the social blueprint Fergie allegedly holds? Or do you dismiss it as the fiction of a woman seeking revenge for her own obsolescence? Is there shame in a strategic rise? Or does knowing the architecture of the fairy tale destroy its magic forever? And finally, whose legacy is more at risk, Meghan's, for the past she left behind, or the institutions, for the clubby, exclusive world it has always tolerated? State your verdict. Choose your side. The first witness may be about to take the stand.